A couple of times before everybody gets quiet. We got a full house this morning, and we got a lot of stuff to cover. So some of you who are standing may be standing for a little bit, so get comfortable. Find you a post to lean up against, or find you just wherever you can kind of get comfortable. If you've got a seat in the midst of you, scoot in, but it looks like y'all already ooched in. So we'll
extra seats up here.
We'll just handle things as best we can as we go forward. Yeah, there's and we'll just make things happen. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Moore from the West Ridge Church of the Nazarene.
Judge, we need to do roll call.
Why?
You can be here, friend.
You can see us all here.
That's good with me.
All right.
Whoa, it's going to be that kind of day.
I'll teach you to ask that question, won't it? She's right, as usual. Women are usually right when they correct us. So with that, we will go ahead and not call on you yet, but we'll call roll. Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
I'm here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
I'm here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Now we will have an invocation from Pastor Moore. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you because we know it is by your grace that we're able to accomplish what it be your will today, and we ask your blessing and your anointing in a special way. Father, we echo the words of David as he wrote in Psalms, I prayed to the Lord and he answered me. He freed me from all my fears. And those who look to him for help will be radiant with joy. No shadow of shame will darken their faces. So God, I echo that prayer of David to the men and women here, Lord, that they would seek you and they would find your blessing upon them. So guide us, Lord. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and protect this flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Pastor. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor, members of the court. We have just a couple of announcements relating to the agenda. Actually, it doesn't relate to this agenda, but I would like to remind the court that next Tuesday we are going to have a work session that's dealing with the transportation program. We will have the two vendors that we shortlisted. They'll be coming to make their presentations to court next week. Also, members of the court, just to remind you that on April 28th, that we do not have court that day. So if you'll just simply put that on your calendar.
April the 28th?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of March the 24th.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We had a slew of proclamations, resolutions, and other stuff. Commissioner Wynn, I know this is not going to be a pleasing subject for you. And they didn't end up winning, but the Badgers played. I wasn't going to disclose who it was.
Who's clapping back there?
The Wisconsin team played a very good, obviously they played a good game Saturday night, but they played a good game last night too.
They sure did.
And so they deserved the little hat on the podium for a while, a little bit of recognition. Ange was
Where's your
disappointed.
dookie hat?
I don't have a dookie hat. And after the officiating, I'm not sure I would have put the Dookie hat up there anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
It was a interesting session. The first proclamation that we have this morning is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And Julie, come on up. I'm going to read the resolution or proclamation into the record, and then I'm going to call upon you to say a few words and introduce some folks. So come on up. Whereas Texas children are our future as well as our greatest resource, and every child deserves a nurturing family and safe environment to grow into a healthy, productive member of the community, and whereas child abuse is one of our nation's most serious public health problems and threatens the safety of our community, and whereas 15 Texas children's lives were lost to child abuse in 2014, with 11 of these child deaths being in Tarrant County, where 13,058 investigations were completed in 2014 and 6,097 children were confirmed as victims of child abuse and neglect, whereas finding solutions to prevent child abuse is a community responsibility depending on involvement of all citizens and communities must make every effort to promote the programs that benefit children and their families. And whereas effective child abuse prevention, investigation, and treatment programs succeed because of partnerships among public and private agencies, schools, religious organizations, medical services, and the business community, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2015 Child Abuse Prevention Month in Tarrant County. Further, that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, urge all citizens to be aware of the signs of child abuse and to act to protect the children of Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 7th day of April 2015. I'll move its approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Before I come down, I want to make just a couple of comments. There was an article in the paper last week that said that Tarrant County had the most reported cases of child abuse as any county in the state. Maybe it's me trying in a little way to say that I emphasis on reported, because personally I find it difficult to believe that Tarrant County, with less than 2 million, has more cases of child abuse than Harris County, with a population of greater than 4 million. So what I hope, if there's anything positive that can be said about this, I hope that it means that we're doing a better job of educating and telling folks and making sure they understand how to recognize abuse and how to report abuse. And we're here today about child abuse, but it is equally important that we do the same with spousal abuse. It is never right, never right to strike a child, to strike a woman, a spouse. And we've got to do a better job. The blame is not just on the abuser. Many times if an individual is raised in a household where they experience and see this happen frequently, then they have no choice but to believe that that's accepted behavior, especially when we don't take opportunities, whether it be in our civic organizations, as we speak to various groups in our Sunday school classes, wherever we may be. If we do not speak about this, if we don't say it's wrong, then someone raised in that environment has no way of knowing that it's wrong. I hope that we're beginning more and more to talk about it. And if we're not, I hope that we will in the future, and I would encourage each and every one of you to, whenever you have the opportunity, to just maybe make a couple of sentence comments in the beginning that says it's wrong. Now, I will tell you, I've tried as best I can to figure out a way to start a speech or to end a speech with this, and it is not a pleasant subject. But it's one that I think we need to address, and we need to take the time and find a way through the awkwardness of making that statement, wherever you may be, whomever you may be talking with. And then it's also important, I think, that if we hear jokes or we hear things like that said, that we acknowledge that it's, that implies that it might be all right, that we make the statement that no, it's not. And hopefully, we may have more reported cases, but it'll be as a result of we're better educating folks on, one, that it's not right, that we need to report it, and that we need to begin saying we're going to stop abuse of any way, shape, or form in Tarrant County. So I'll get off my soapbox, and I'll bring this down now and give this to you. And I'll give you a chance to get up on your soapbox.
Oh, we messed up. Interesting.
Introduce her, if you like.
Certainly, thank you. Judge Whitley, I think you have just demonstrated the point I would make as to why we continue to see a large number of cases reported. I think it's because we have leaders in our community who are willing to have difficult conversations. They're willing to bring to light a devastating issue that happens in every community in Texas. And what I see happen as I have the opportunity now to work with leaders in other areas of the state is that they struggle in their communities to have those conversations. They struggle for their leadership to say this is real and this exists and we have to do a better job for children. So I think you're exactly right as to why we continue to see an increase is because this community is willing to bring to light the challenging areas. They're willing to say we've got to do a better job. In fact, that's why agencies like Alliance for Children existed. 20 years ago, this community came together and said, we have got to do better for Tarrant County children that have been victims of abuse. We have to collaborate. We have to work together. We have to share resources. And that's the very reason an agency like ours exists. 6,000 children in Tarrant County were victims last year, confirmed through investigations. And those are just the kids we know about. Those are just the kids that had the courage to stand up and say something. So things like education, things like continued collaboration are key to making sure that every child in our community continues to be safe. Now, one thing I also know for working across the state is Tarrant County excels at collaboration, and keeping children safe can't just happen by one. So every day in our agency, we partner with many members that are with us today. That includes Child Protective Services, many local police departments, and as I mentioned you, if y'all don't mind standing, this is not about Alliance for Children. This really is about this community response. So law enforcement, as you're here, don't want to call you out, Jim Thompson. Go ahead and stand up. The Tarrant County Criminal District Attorney's Office, Cook Children's Medical Center. They are partnering with us every day in our center. In addition to that, we are partnering with other community leaders such as Lena Pope, ACH Child and Family Services, the Parenting Center, CASA of Tarrant County, the Women's Center, Tarrant County Juvenile Services. The list could go on, and I'm glad you made me say the list because I'm afraid I'm forgetting somebody. I said juvenile right here as you walk in, Lena Pope. This really is a remarkable picture of how important children have become here in Tarrant County, and that comes through leadership such as you. So thank you for honoring April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Thank you for letting us join you this morning.
Alliance for Children was one of the first boards that I had an opportunity to sit on as I came onto the Commissioner's Court, and so it holds a special place in my heart. The work that you do has touched me in a very personal way, and I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. The next, I have two resolutions that are for ratification only. One is National County Government Month, and the second is National Service Recognition. I think both are very important. One, County Government Month, very few people understand and recognize what county government is, realizing that it is the front door really to the implementation of most of the laws that the federal and the state government pass. So I hope that those of you who work for the county or who understand the county will spend a little bit of time this month, especially this month, and really year-round, when someone asks you what you do and you tell them you work for the county, explain to them what the county is, because most of them will stop asking because they really don't know anything about you. So take it a little bit further. And then the other one is especially, I think, important for Tarrant County. It's National Service Recognition Day, which really talks to the volunteerism. And in Tarrant County, I believe that we demonstrate a tremendous passion for helping and serving others through volunteer efforts. And many of the causes that we all believe in, instead of just letting the government do it or just letting someone else do it, we all pitch in and do a little bit. And as a result of that, I think it makes Tarrant County a much better place to live, to raise a family. And I'm very proud to be able to talk about Tarrant County and our collaboration between government, nonprofit, and the private sector in everything that we do. So with that, I'll move the approval of both of those resolutions.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. The next resolution that we have, I'm going to ask Judge Carr to come forward because it's my second point that I always try to bring in, and that's our appreciation for veterans. Now, this Veterans Court, Judge Carr doesn't work 8 to 5 and doesn't just do the things that a court or that a judge may be expected to do in their elected position. He looks for ways to go beyond that and saying, what could we do that would make it be a little bit better? Or what could we do to help these individuals maybe turn their life around? And he's done it not only in the veteran court area, but he's done it in other specialty areas. So what I'm going to do today is read this resolution on our Tarrant County Veterans Court Diversion Program. Whereas the contributions and sacrifices of past and present members of armed forces have been vital in maintaining our freedom, and whereas while in service of the U.S. military, many veterans of combat or hazardous duty have sustained a traumatic brain injury or acquired a mental health condition that negatively interferes with their ability to successfully reintegrate into civilian life and on occasion results in criminal charges. And whereas in honor of these veterans, the Texas legislature enacted laws also authorizing the creation of veterans courts in the state of Texas to allow eligible veterans the opportunity to address these problems under court supervision. And whereas upon authorization by the Tarrant County Commissioners Court, the Tarrant County Veterans Court was created in February 2010. And whereas to date, the Tarrant County Veterans Court program has successfully graduated 100 veterans, and the recidivism rate among program graduates during this time is 7%. And whereas the Tarrant County Veterans Court program has been recognized throughout Texas and across the nation as a leading program and has played a direct role in the creation of many more veterans courts and other jurisdictions. And whereas the Tarrant County Veterans Court program is comprised of numerous agencies and individuals who are devoted to assisting veterans in overcoming obstacles in their lives, created in part as a result of military service, and whereas the Tarrant County Veterans Court has completed 5 years of exemplary service, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby recognize the Tarrant County Veterans Court for its outstanding service to veterans, their families, and Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 7th day of April 2015. Move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. folks, especially
They'll take a picture.
that we don't often get to give them, so come on in here, we'll get your picture. Oh, wait a minute, I don't want to be in the middle. You get in the middle. So now we're really seeing the GK's abilities here. Ann, are you laughing? Where's Ann? Somebody, you might want to look and preview that picture. It's not a picture of him. It's good. It's good. It's good.
I want to honor my father-in-law, a prisoner of war, my two sons currently on active duty. Having been a peacetime Marine myself, I've always had to endure many evenings knowing that other people in my son's units weren't going to come home, and every time I heard, it's amazing that somebody can be right in the middle of a war and they can Skype you at home and you can talk to them while they're over there facing bullets and other dangers. My oldest son, Edward, said during his deployment to Afghanistan, he fired over 3,000 rounds as the battery platoon commander in hostile combat. And we do have a lot of people who come back to Tarrant County with a lot of serious issues. But again, this was a team effort. That was Courtney Young, our program manager, who's been with us since day one. I need to thank Jim Lane for, I'm not saying there wouldn't have been a veterans court, but he came to me with the idea. This court approved the necessary resolution. The district attorney has been a player, the district clerk, the county clerk, the Veterans Administration, and I know they've hit some bumps in the road, but this has been a marvelous marriage of a local effort with a very large federal bureaucracy, and their service in this program has achieved the gold standard, and the many service providers. So as I've said in the past, I certainly feel this is the least I can do, and I'm very honored that I've had the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. And this program's already taken a long time today, so a little bit more time on her. Would all the veterans please rise at this time? Again, thank you for your service. Commissioner Brooks, you have a proclamation.
I do, and it is in recognition of Public Health Week. Would you please read the proclamation into the record?
Whereas since the last century, the United States has achieved significant increases in life expectancy and reductions in the incidence of injury, disability, and disease, and of the additional years of life expectancy gained since the turn of the century, public health is credited with significant improvements in our health status and life expectancy. And whereas public health is about ensuring healthy living and working environments and succeeds by identifying and addressing patterns of disease, illness, and injury in populations, and has contributed to the decline in illness and injury, and whereas the public health role regarding emergency preparedness, bioterrorism is important, and local health departments and public-private partnerships are the foundation for a strong public health system, and whereas National Public Health Week provides opportunities for the public to learn about the public health success stories and continue frontline efforts to develop methods to immunize populations against infectious disease, maintain good nutritional standards, and provide good prenatal care for everyone, as well as preventative measures vital to healthy communities. And whereas the National Public Health Week encompasses our goals as a nation to ensure that our homes, neighborhoods, and communities are places we all, especially children, can thrive. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim April 6th through 12th, 2015, as Public Health Week in Tarrant County and encourage residents to participate in public health initiatives that prevent disease, promote good health, and protect the environment. And further, we commend the hundreds of public health professionals at Tarrant County Public Health for dedicating themselves to maintaining and improving the health of their fellow residents. In witness whereof, we have hereunder set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed the 7th day of April, 2015.
Thank you, Your Honor. And before I move for approval of this proclamation, I want to point out that Tarrant County has one of the best public health departments in the state of Texas, certainly. And perhaps in the nation, because our public health department gets it. They get the fact that public health is not just about restaurant inspections and sanitary sewers and immunization and education about disease control. Public health is about healthy communities. It's about healthy lifestyles. It's about healthy behaviors. The things that we have talked about so much this morning, child abuse, spousal abuse, other kinds of behavior that create a danger to individual health affect public health and are therefore public health issues. Our department knows that, and they have programs to address issues that are broader than one has traditionally thought of in terms of what public health does. Having said all of that, I want to move approval of this proclamation.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And to ask our Public Health Director, Dr. Vinny Taneja, to come forward and receive this recognition on behalf of his department.
I think he's saying to the rest of you, get up and come on.
Good morning, and thank you again for the opportunity here. And first of all, I want to thank this Commissioner's Court for being so engaged in public health. I've worked in many, many communities, and by far I can tell you very honestly, this is the most engaged leadership in any community that I've ever seen. So thank you for being so engaged. And, like Commissioner Brooks was saying, we really have a great team back at Public Health. They're doing a tremendous job, and I want to take this opportunity to thank them and encourage them to do better. We have a lot of work remaining ahead of us. We can do things much, much better, and I think this team is primed to go higher than where we are. And as Commissioner Brooks was saying earlier, there are a lot of things that we talk about here. A lot of folks that relate to us with restaurant inspections, or we talk about, glamorous disease outbreaks that are the hot topic. And recently we've seen a lot of those. But there are other things that, public health does on a day-to-day basis that are very important health programs. And I want to bring 3 of those programs to light today. They're health priorities in our community. Our community has a challenge with adult obesity. We have a Obesity Prevention Council chaired by our own Commissioner Brooks, and they do a great job in bringing the community together, talking to businesses. We've passed a few resolutions as a county in the past to address some of those things as health policy. But as a result, we also have a great program called Live a Colorful Life. And the program really focuses on nutrition and getting fruits and vegetables and whole grains into your diet to reduce the consumption of high-calorie foods, sometimes that lead to obesity as a problem. So that program is available through Public Health. It's a free program. The community can avail of it. Information is available on our website, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter. And also, there's another program. We have an issue with adult smoking in our community. So we have a free program called Freedom from Smoking. It's a step-by-step program. We have free classes going on, through the week, in the evenings, on the weekends. So I want to make sure that the public knows about it. There's an online version available. So we need to make sure that our community is availing of that opportunity. There are many other entities that have similar programs, but I just want to make sure that the public knows that Public Health has this program, and it is a priority in our community to reduce adult smoking, because that is one of the factors that's dragging us down as a community. And finally, another program that we just launched recently, again, an issue is access to health care. Large businesses in our community have the resources. Even our own county has a wellness program, and so do many large businesses. But small businesses sometimes, with 2 to 10 employees or a few employees, don't have access to these resources. So we've launched a free program called Better Health, Better Business. It allows those businesses to partner with Tarrant County Public Health to offer these resources to their employees, where they can have free health classes, information and other resources where they can make healthy lifestyle as a default choice, and offer that service to their employees. So these 3 programs I want to bring to the highlight today, so that our community can participate and take a benefit out of these programs. And lastly, what I wanted to do was, because it's Public Health Week, I want to highlight that we do take pride in sharing a lot of information on our website, and also through our Facebook page and through our newly formed Twitter account. So for Facebook, I encourage people to go on and learn about facebook.com/Tarrant County Public Health. And all week this week, we're going to have a lot of information posted. So please read about National Public Health Week and what we do in our community in public health, and share that on your Facebook pages. And same thing with Twitter. We have a very simple address to remember, @TCPH Tweets. So you'll see more and more coming out from @TCPH Tweets. And if you all are into Twitter, please retweet our information, because that's good health information for everybody to know. With that said, thank you again for the opportunity, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve here in Tarrant County. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. I'm kind of with Commissioner Johnson on this tweeting. That reminds me of the yellow canary, and that's about it. We're getting near an end, but we've had important presentations, and we could have said, okay, y'all who, once you get finished, you can leave, but I wanted you to hear the things that we had to discuss and the things and the proclamations that we had for today, because I think they've been very, very important topics. At this time, I'm going to call on Ann Farmer to discuss another very important topic that we as a county have continued to improve on year after year, and that's our United Way campaign. So, Ann, kind of talk to us about our United Way campaign for this past year.
Well, it was amazing and outstanding, and we're here to celebrate. As you all remember, we started out with Burgers on the Lawn. As I was looking through the photos from this campaign, the thought occurred to me that I should rename it When Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, because there was a whole lot of cooking going on. We had pancakes. We had Korean barbecue. We had barbecue at Precinct 3. And we, of course, had our beloved catfish with Commissioner Johnson at Precinct 4. One of the parts of our campaign every year that is particularly enjoyed by the employees is that the credit union provides 10 $100 gift cards to employees that are pulled from a random drawing if they give at least $25 to the United Way. And these individuals, Carlotta Ramirez, Monica Foster, Michael Clark, Dina Jackson, Rose Young, Francis Coffey, Farrell Teague, Michelle Grimaldo, Sandra Andrews, and Daniel Thompson have already received their gift cards, and I know that some of them have already been spent. Now, to the business at hand. This is what the court and several departments have been waiting to hear, and so we're going to begin with the Commissioners Court and County Administrator category. We've split the categories out a little bit this year. And of course, Judge Whitley's office was number 1, second place, the Administrator's office, and third place, Precinct 2. Now, this is on per capita donations.
And in that regard, I'd just like to lift up the fact that Precinct 1 raised the most amount of money. And we're nowhere on this list.
You want to help me buy lunch?
The system is tilted towards someone who can write a big check, not to give a successful event. And the way this is structured devalues the contributions of all the employees of Precinct 1 who put on that successful pancake breakfast, raised the most amount of dollars on this Commissioner's Court, and came in fourth.
Well, at least you didn't come in fifth. That's just because you got. We will revamp the way we do it next year, and I'll still beat you.
Well, if you look at the dollars, you didn't beat me this year.
So
you pulled an accounting trick.
So the next time you want to add more employees to your organization, think twice about that.
Let me get out of Thank you. Moving right along.
And Commissioner Fickus is buying lunch.
Yes, sir. It's there in black.
I see that.
I think we need to be a little bit more defined as what lunch means. McDonald's doesn't count.
I'm just going to make you drive to South Lake to get it. That's all.
There's some good restaurants.
Moving right along.
Okay. We now have a category for elected officials. First place, district clerk. Second place, county clerk. And third place, justice of the peace, precinct 1. Well, people like cold hot dogs and rain.
You were close. You were close, Mary Louise. You just let Wilder beat you out there by a couple of bucks. Just a couple of bucks.
Everybody, come on. Yeah. Okay.
How much did he win by?
Like $3.
$2.40.
Okay, Mr.
Okay, y'all do.
CPA.
Where's her? Did she not get a thing?
She has, Tom grabbed it from her.
She's going to get it in her office.
Good job, Tom.
Very good.
See you next week.
Tracy did all the work.
Well, we knew it wasn't you. We didn't ask you to speak. We didn't ask you to speak.
He did a good job of eating, though.
Yeah, that's it.
Charlene's venison chili sold out. They've taken on the commission.
Sit down, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mary Louise.
Among the departments, first place was community development, second place the resource connection, and third place purchasing. So I need for them to come forward. Donna, okay. Come on, Judy.
Come on, Beecham. You were the one that was issuing all those challenges.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Purchasing is here. Okay, and then resource.
I'll be in the back.
Okay. Turn around. Oops, yeah.
It's a better side.
Community development, that's you. That's an awesome effort, too, on y'all's part. Really great, everybody. Thank you.
I just said, yeah, you gave it all to my staff. Oh, my paper. That's the court agenda. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And for the highest percentage increase, first place to Human Services with a 590.10% increase, which is very significant. That is huge. Second place to Resource Connection, and third place to the Sheriff's Department. Bring that plaque with you because I combined y'all for one thing. Yeah. We're being economical. You get one plaque for 2 awards. And now for some astounding results. We're going to start with the runner-up with information technology. They will win a $150 gift card. Melissa Burleson from the credit union is here to present it to them for their astounding total of $11,325.55. No, you can go in the middle, and those ladies can flank you. Thank you, Melissa. 1, 2, 3. Great, amazing. Thank you. Okay. And the outstanding campaign with $12,000 to Tarrant County Public Health. They will win a $250 card donated by the credit union for an employee event or a function or maybe seed money for next year.
Outstanding.
It is, Greg. Do you have a... Yeah, a big one. Sorry. You can just stay up here.
Oh, okay.
And that is because I need Chris Iafor to come up also.
Yep.
Chris, come on back.
I was the Daisy Hacker.
There was a real spirit of competition between these two departments as far as fundraising. And the reason they win the New Kids on the Block Award are they're our newest directors. And they were, the women that work for them conned them both into putting There was another significant costume worn during the campaign. And then I wanted to share this photo with you and present the award.
No wonder you raise so much money.
That was actually for Human Services.
It was. He said if they raised a certain amount, he would appear in a costume And this was the selected outfit. Yeah.
We in precinct 1 collaborate.
We just made a decision. Where's Chris? Chris, we didn't. Where's Chris go? Chris?
He probably left.
Oh, he's back there.
Well,
There he is.
Chris, we went and had made an executive decision since we were the co-chairs of United Way. We'd like to give this money to the DA so they can go ahead and buy those bears and so forth for those children.
Oh, that's great.
There's a couple more little recognitions we'd like to give here. I don't know how you can recognize someone for talking smack, but I did think it was important that we recognize the fact that Jack wasn't afraid to take on the world. And so I have a special award that I hope we can carry on from year to year.
Having come from Arkansas, he's learned that smack real well. It's just,
Okay, this one is one that I personally am giving, and that is in the summer of 2011, Judge Whitley and Tim McKinney told me that we were going to change how much money Tarrant County raised to the United Way. At that time, it was around $50,000. And that looked like a real tall mountain to me. But Judge Whitley wouldn't let go. And he kind of reminded me of the story of walk softly and carry a big stick. If you know anything about his office, it has shovels in the corner of it. And the shovels are...
what are you trying to do? You get that?
The shovels are from various groundbreakings. I think he keeps them because he knows he may need a shovel for other things. But either way, I wanted to give him another tool to use because sometimes he's got to climb mountains. And so this is your mountain climbing stick. And I want to point out that the end of it is not always with a rubber tip. There's a metal tip on there if you need to do something.
Take that can.
Okay, we're done for now, but there'll be more later.
Well, hopefully, our mayor is supposed to be arriving shortly. She hadn't gotten out there yet, has she, Steve? I'll drag her in. Just tell her not to park in JD's spot out there.
Please.
Okay, so we will now begin, again, one of my favorite times of each month, and that is our employee recognition time. And you know the drill, except for you five-year folks who are new. When I call your name, please stand up, remain standing until I finish that particular group, and then you can sit down. So our five-year employees are Anthony Alanez, Sheriff's Office. Way back there in the back. You can come on in now. We're just about to have room. Well, these first few ones. Cynthia Bottoror. I know I messed that one up. So if you're here, there you go. Tell me how to pronounce that last name.
You did right. That's pretty close.
I like that pretty close. It worked. She's with the Public Health Department. William Carmichael with the Sheriff's Office. Justin Crooks with the Sheriff's Office. Justin. Richard Devaney with the Tax Office. Francis Dillon III with the Sheriff's Office. Christopher Leggett with the Sheriff's Office. Priscilla Leja with the Sheriff's Office. Paige McCormick with the Criminal DA's Office. Axel Sanchez with the Sheriff's Office. Alicia Whiteley with the Tax Office. Does everybody leave out the E and call you Whitley? Yes. Good. I just wanted to be sure it went both ways. Allison Williams with the Sheriff's Office. These are our 5-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Y'all can be seated now for our 10-year employees. Jennifer Arrington with Domestic Relations. Daniel Benna with the 323rd District Court. Back there. Cornelius Cooper with Juvenile Services. Davy Estes with the Criminal DA's Office. Mary Hernandez with the Criminal DA's Office. Charlotte Larson with the Tax Office. Stephen Mueller, Facilities Management. Maria Salazar, Facilities Management. Felicia Salazar, District Clerk's Office. Julia Salmon, Juvenile Services. Euphema Cerna with County Clerk's Office. How did I do?
That's okay.
It looked right. Thank you, Debbie. Mickey Smith, 48th District Court. Sherry Steen, County Clerk at Law, Court at Law number 3. Kilton Young, Juvenile Services. These are our 10-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Now our 15-year employees, there come the guys with the guns, so the mayor can't be far behind. We may take a break here for a second. Okay, Mr. McKinney and Ann Farmer, y'all come on up. Now. And I want you to notice that they're already dressed up, so this is a little foretelling of the future.
Welcome back, Beth.
We're very humble, having lost this bet. We've got Councilmember Dennis Shingleton and City Manager David Cook with me, and Railhead Barbecue.
I was fixing to say, if this is barbecue, I want to make sure it's Texas barbecue and not North Carolina barbecue.
It is. He didn't. Hey. Hi.
How are you?
Now we got.
You got some pictures?
We got some pictures. That was the first year. It didn't go so well.
Oh, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2000.
We won that year.
Last year.
Well, we call that
Year
one
before,
a tie.
yeah. And last year we tied. And this time you beat us again. So we're 1 and a tie of 2.
Now, what I also want to say is, as Ann mentioned earlier, we started out around, I think, just a little shy of 50,000 in 2011. And this year we went over 100,000. So I really want to thank all the employees of Tarrant County.
And we did $144,267.26, and you did $104,213.46. But because your CPA decided that the first year it wasn't right, we should do it per capita. Your per
Betsy,
capita.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
This is the second verse to a familiar song. I'm just.
The city has 6,156 employees, and our per capita was 2344. And the county has 4,070 employees, and yours was 2,561, which is great. But the real deal is the community one.
That's right. Yes, they do.
$248,500.72 between the two groups. We don't mind losing for a great cause, but David, we're not going to lose next year.
The job is on the line, David.
I think he's replaced his United Way campaign worker.
This is the last year we come over here.
That's right. They're coming to us next year. We love seeing our friends here, but we much prefer that y'all come join us. And a big round of applause for our friend Charlie Guerin, Representative Guerin, and Railhead for donating lunch for everyone. And Commissioner, it's Tuesday. I usually get a kiss on Tuesday. For 11 years I did.
You're going to have to meet her halfway.
Dennis.
Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dennis.
How are you?
For those of y'all who haven't met the new city manager, David Cook has a good county background. He came out of the North Carolina, Wake County area, I believe. And we appreciate and glad to have you here. Between you and Betsy, you might be able to get the city straightened out.
We're working on countifying the city a little bit.
That'll work. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all.
Thanks for the barbecue.
Tim may want to say something.
Well, we really haven't recognized Tim in fame for. Tim is the executive director, CEO of the United Way here in Tarrant County, and we appreciate everything you've done to kind of keep the competition going.
Well, I appreciate the good humor of you and Mayor Price. And, on behalf of United Way and all the agencies that we represent, I want to thank both the employees of the city of Fort Worth and the employees of the Tarrant County, the county commissioners, the councilmen, for your wonderful and just the support that you've risen over the last 4 or 5 years has just been really great, and we all appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Well, let's get a picture. I want to get a picture with Beth. I got to make sure they see us winning so that we continue this trend. We'll know that.
When they're down, they kick you. That's what I think.
We'll get him.
No bicycle ride.
We should get all the court down.
Come on. Let's take it up there. Let's go up there and let's take the picture. Come on. Up there? You just don't know the half of it.
Are you sharing the barbecue?
No.
The winner or something?
No, that's not Tuesday.
Go do your thing.
First Tim. Tim, come on. What do you want? Put you in the middle there.
If we're going to lose this, we're going to make a big deal of it. Disrupt everybody.
Where's Laney?
You should be up here too. We got David up here. Come on.
Come on. Quit piddling.
Hurry. David conducted a great meeting in your absence last week.
He's from the county.
Like Christmas, just keep smiling until the cameras get flashing. All right, thank you.
I'm ready. Okay.
Okay. Now, continuing with our 15-year employees. Yvonne Brinkley, Public Health. There she is. Paula Cox, County Clerk's Office. Paula. Stephen King, Precinct 2 Operations. There you go. Joshua Kunk. I know I got that one wrong. Go ahead, sir. Tell me how I should have pronounced it. Okay, that's how I should have pronounced it. Barry Patrick, County Clerk's Office. Gabriel Smith, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Angela Triley, County Auditor's Office. Rosalind Walton, Sheriff's Office. Sandra Welch, County Clerk's Office. And these are our 15-year employees. Let's give them a big hand. Now for our 20-year employees, Stephanie Allred, Sheriff's Office. Joseph Baker, Sheriff's Office. Elizabeth Black, Sheriff's Office. Mark Fondren, Medical Examiner's Office. Michael Gravitt, Sheriff's Office. John Harris, Medical Examiner's Office. Eddie Harridge, Sheriff's Office. Glenn Johns, Precinct 4 Operations. Rosalie Kerr, Information Technology. Donna Martin, Tax Office. Maya Moore, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Holly Webb, County Clerk's Office. Alan Whitten, Sheriff's Office. Letitia Wilburn, Sheriff's Office. Dora Rodriguez, Sheriff's Office. These are our 20-year employees. Now for our 25 and 30-year employees, we'll call on them and I'll say a few words about each one of them. Our first is Richard Almaderas from the Sheriff's Confinement Area, spent 25 years, has spent 25 years with us, started out in Green Bay, got his peace officer's license the very first year he was with us. At that time, you pretty well had to do it on your own. He spent some time in the classification area with the emphasis on gang analysis in the confinement area. In July 2012, Richard moved over to the HIDTA area, which is the Federal High Intensity Drug Area for the North Texas area. And as I understand it, there are areas around the country that's worked on, and this group really focuses on not your low-level users or dealers, but really the kingpins, the ones that are putting the networks together. When I asked about the most memorable moment, again, he said when he was assisting the DA's office in the gang activities area, what he liked most was the constant changing of things that were going on, staying fresh with a variety of different things, and then the opportunity to work in these new areas. Since last we talked, he said his daughter's getting ready to go to high school, and so you know they're getting prepared for that. And I said, fortunately, I'm past that time in my life. I'm now getting ready for the grandkids to go to kindergarten. So, Richard, again, thank you for your 25 years of service. Now, next is Linda Busby, and I don't believe Linda was going to be able to make it. She works the midnight shift, so if you see her, give her a chance. Thank her for her 25 years of service. Next is Judge Michael Mitchell. Stand up, Judge. Started out as an elected official. When I ask about a memorable moment, I guess one of you had a famous trial, and that trial was, I guess it was on a TV show, and the TV show was called Cheaters, and it basically, if I've got this right, and I may not have it right because I've slept a few times since then, there were 5 employees who were on trial for unlawfully restraining a lady. Now, this reminds me of one of the old Dolly Parton movies that was on where they restrained their boss for a few. 9 to 5, was that, see, I'm not the only one that watches a little bit of TV. What he liked most, the benefits and the opportunities that he's had both within and without the county. You know, when I asked him, I knew a little bit about what's happened over the last 5 years. He retired, and then maybe the honeydew list got a little long, so he decided to come back to work and is now working at the DA's office. You know, I would say about Judge Mitchell, when he was in his court, he always looked for ways to save money. I mean, he was one that shared court reporter, and now he's in the DA's office, and I know under Sharon you're going to have an opportunity to try to save additional pennies. So we appreciate very much, has 5 grandkids. We appreciate the 25 years you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you, Judge. Next is Roger Ruth, 25 years. There's Roger back there in the back. Started out in Belknap, spent some time in the warrant division, spent some time recruiting, worked as the bailiff in Judge Gallagher's court for a while, and in 2011 moved back to the north door over here in the Family Law Center. When I asked him about the memorable moments for his time in the warrants, he said, you know, this was really an opportunity to get some bad guys off the street, and that had always meant, you know, that's something that stuck in his mind. He said he loves the public service, loves wearing the uniform and being in law enforcement. When I talked with him 5 years ago, he had 1 grandchild and 1 on the way. He now has 6 grandkids. So he's a lot like mine. Once they figured out how it happened, they've just been spitting them out ever since. He said, I've begun now to actually begin thinking about retirement. He had started school and had started out with trying to get an art degree, and then stopped that to go and serve in the Army and serve his country. When he came back, he came to work for the sheriff's office. He did say that one of the memorable moments was the first time that door slammed behind him, and he was really wondering if this was what was made out for him. He said, I'm really glad that I stuck it out, because he said, I've really loved the time with the sheriff's office. But he said, if I retire, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and finish getting that art degree. We really appreciate, Roger, the 25 years that you spent with Tarrant County. Thank you very much. Next is Rosemary Garza with Precinct 5, JP Precinct 5. There she is. 25 years. Started out in the elections department and really only planned to be there for a few months and then go back to El Paso, which is where her family was. But obviously she decided to stick it out and fell in love with the county. Went full-time with the county clerk's office in the beginning in the marriage license area. Worked in the WIC with public health for a while. Then went to work for Judge Valdez in July of '91. And is now working for Sergio as the court manager. Most memorable moment, she said the first day she came to work for the county, it snowed, and she had to walk from the courthouse to the Mueller building to work for elections at that point in time. She said, I've actually really enjoyed my time working with the JP courts. What she liked most was, again, the fact that she's had some great supervisors over the time, folks who just, are, household names with the county. She said, I've actually grown up with the county. She said, I have my first grandson now, is almost 1 year old, and she said that grandson's keeping her on her toes and keeping her young. She just couldn't say enough about what the county has done for her. Her husband works in elections. He's not here today. He wasn't able to make it today. And he's been here with the county for over 20 years. So, Rosemary, we appreciate very much the 25 years of service you've given us. Next is LaTonya Dickens with the district clerk's office, and I don't think she's here. She didn't make it. She said, I don't like attention, a whole lot of attention. And I said, well, I won't embarrass you too much, and I shouldn't have said that because I guaranteed you she wasn't going to be down here. But when you see her, please congratulate her on 30 years of service with the county. Next is Geraldine Kimball from Juvenile Services. Where are you? There you are. She started off in the youth center there off Boat Club Road, then moved to the Kimbo Road facility and worked in the JJAP program. She said the most memorable thing was just getting an opportunity to work with youth. She loved the people she had a chance to work with over the 30 years, opportunities to grow within the county. Now, she actually retired April 2nd. So she came in. I asked her how she was enjoying retirement. She says, it's great so far. She has 3 grandkids, 9, 11, and 2, and she said, you know, that's one of the things that really made me want to retire is to have an opportunity to spend time with those grandkids. She said over the years we've seen a whole lot of changes in the JJAP program, and that she, again, enjoyed very, very much the time that she spent there. Geraldine, we tell you how much we appreciate the 30 years you gave us. Thank you. Judge Womack, 30 years, judge of the 348th District Court, the only person that I know who is less technology involved than Commissioner Johnson. She don't even have a cell phone. She didn't have a cell phone 5 years ago, and she still doesn't have a cell phone. And like she said, and like she said, everybody knows where they'll find me. They'll find me in her office, and you will find her in her office usually 7 days a week, usually at least 8 to 5. She is an extremely, extremely hard worker. She started in the DA's office and was there 12 years before she ran for judge. I guess you actually spent a year out in Ector County, and if that didn't convince anybody to come east, I don't know what would. When I ran for commissioner in '96, we were handing out cards for not only the primary, but also for the runoff. And so her husband's a CPA. This was not the best time of the year for either one of us to be handing out cards, but we were handing those out, so remember that time well. She said, I loved going to work for Tim Curry, who was the DA when she started there in the DA's office. She said it was the best decision I ever made. It's been a great family. Best friends were made while working with the county. As I said, she still doesn't have that cell phone. She said, I'm just not one that likes change. She said, I've got the same husband. I've got the same house. She said, I'd have had the same dog if the dog had continued to live. She said, I've been twitching a little bit lately. She still likes that paper. She likes to rumble around in those pages. And so this electronic filing and going paperless is causing her to twitch a lot. But she accepts change and knows that it's something that comes along, and when she has to do it, she'll be the one that'll get in there and figure it out and make it happen, and will continue to be and continue to work as hard as she's ever worked. Judge Womack, thank you for your 30 years. We're normally through with court by now, and we hadn't even really started it yet. But these were important items. Really, they're more important than any of the agenda items we're fixing to take up, because it deals with you and the passion that you have for serving the people, not only in your jobs, but also in your second mile giving for the United Way, in your volunteer efforts for the veterans programs, and for all of the other things that we've talked about this morning. So again, I want to thank you. There are still refreshments in 504C. They may be a little bit staler than what they were at 8 o'clock, but they're still back there.
Get there before
Get there before Wilder.
Yes.
So again, thank you very much. Let's give everybody a big round of applause. And we're going to take just a short pause Yes.
Or did tell.
Move to receive and file employee recognition.
Second.
We have a motion to receive and file the employee recognition and the United Way presentations.
Yes.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Hubba hubba.
Members of the court, we have 4 additional items for you this morning. The first one, I think you'll all be very proud of. We have a presentation to make to the court. Going to ask Mr. Charles Gray, who is the director of the TechShare program for CUC, to come forward to make the presentation. While he does that, I'm going to pass out a memo. Here it is.
Morning, Charles.
Good morning. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Charles Gray. I'm the Program Director for the TechShare program at the Conference of Urban Counties. I'm happy to be here today to present a check to the counties, or to Tarrant County, in the amount of $300,664.73.
Excellent.
Let me just give you a little update on the juvenile program that you originally invested in starting back in 2007. Back in 2007, when through your leadership with Dallas and Bexar County, the juvenile system came into being, the county originally invested $3.388 million to help develop the system. Because of the rules of the TechShare program, you were entitled to interest on that investment, and the interest that was accumulated totaled $150,000. Also, once the system was put into use, you were entitled to a risk premium of 10% of what you had contributed, based on you taking the risk to develop the software. That risk premium was $324,000, bringing your total investment to about $3.8 million. As new counties use the TechShare Juvenile program, they're required to pay their share of that capital cost, and that money flows back to the counties who funded the development effort. Right now, that's Dallas and Tarrant County who share those rebates. In October of 2013, Denton County was the first to join TechShare Juvenile, other than the original funding counties, and you received a check then for about $255,000. So today I'm presenting to you a check for $300,664. The total that you've received so far is about $555,000, which is about 14% of what you invested in the program. So I wanted to make that presentation to you today, and thank you for continuing support of the TechShare program.
Maybe we won't get a picture. Where's Ann? She's back there presenting the thing. We're not going to get a picture. We are. We are? Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, right. Oh, there we go.
Wait, that's not it.
Okay, I'm going to get a picture. Oh, Charles.
Oh, Charles. Get in here.
All right. One more.
That's probably a selfie. You know, we've at least found an alternate job for you if you ever make 3 of us mad at the same time.
You do not want me to be doing this.
I liked him shaking the tail. Did it make a noise?
Not that one. So on that particular agenda item, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court authorize the acceptance of a prepaid capital refund check in the amount of $300,664.73 from the Conference of Urban Counties. That money will be deposited in the non-debt capital fund.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the Court, if we can go to item number 2, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve Amendment number 1 to the Texas Sheriff Prosecutor Implementation Agreement and authorize payment to the Texas Conference of Urban Counties in accordance with the amended project payment schedule. We're also going to ask that you authorize the county auditor to release the first 2 checks without them first appearing on the claims register.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, on item number 3, we're requesting that the court approve a resolution in support of the BJA Mental Health and Criminal Justice Collaboration Project.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Then finally, members of the court, on item number 4, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court consider and approve exception to the travel policy as it relates to JP Precinct 7. Just want to point out that the reason this is not on consent is because this travel has already occurred.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I might point out, just for those, again, the Tech Share program has been a very good program for us. We have been really we've been the founding partners, and I guess most of the ones that have started, if not all the ones that have started thus far. And in addition to the $555,000 that Mr. Manius mentioned that we have now received, we've got probably another $200,000, almost $200,000 in the pipeline coming to us on other programs, the prosecutor and the courts programs, which will be coming hopefully in the very near future. So it's been a very good program where we've been partnering to create software that we all use throughout the state. And I want to, again, thank the other elected officials, the DA, the county clerk, the district clerk, a lot of folks who have been willing to participate and collaborate in the creation of this. Our courts, Greg, I know, has done a lot of work in this regard, and we appreciate everything that's been done. It's truly been a collaborative effort.
Judge, I'd just like to point out that we are developing software that we need, software that we would have either had to develop on our own or to buy from somebody. We're not just developing software to sell it to other counties. To get money back for doing something that we would have had to do anyway, that's a good deal.
And I will tell you that our prosecutor program, which again is come out of a lot out of the DA's office, is something that is now being looked at nationwide by several other states to potentially put that into place. So this has been a very good thing, and I think it has a very bright future. Ms. Tidwell.
We have 2 items that we're asking the court to consider this morning. The first item is to approve release and substitution of the depository collateral in $301,649,000 as listed in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And the other item is to receive and file the Tarrant County financial statements for the period ended the 5 months February 28, 2015.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Phillips.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's requested that Commissioners Court approve a letter of understanding between HOK, Summit Consultants, and Tarrant County for the payment of 3 new elevator shaft fans for the Tom Vandegrift Civil Courts Building.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? 3 new ones. We haven't even moved into the building.
Yes.
So is that helping?
The air, though.
We're moving the air. So is that helping the problem that we had on the smoke vac, or?
Air pressurization, this will solve the problem.
It's solving the problem.
As soon as you approve the next line, it will solve the problem.
Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
It's requested that Commissioners Court approve change order number 9 to the H Construction Company and Vendime Construction Management Contract for the Civil Courts Building included in the 2006 Capital Improvement Program.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Problem solved.
Yes, sir.
Move to receive and file personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Good morning. We have one additional item for the court. It's item number 2. We're asking the court to approve out-of-class pay extension in public health. Dr. Tanasia is requesting the continuation of out-of-class pay for Guy Dixon. The court will recall Mr. Dixon assumed the duties of Doug Fabio in April of last year. Dr. Tanasia is looking at his organization, is considering a reorg, but has not made any final decisions at this time, and so he's requesting the continuation of out-of-class pay through the middle part of July at a cost to the Public Health Fund of approximately $1,800. It's important to note that these costs are offset by salary savings.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tanasia.
Thank you. We're requesting approval of one item today, a contractor agreement between National Association for County and City Health Officials and Tarrant County for services to enhance a strategic planning meeting to be hosted by Tarrant County Public Health. And it's, again, for planning around HPV vaccine utilization, and the grant is about $15,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Beecham.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I understand that Kroger and H-E-B and Walmart have recalled all of the Bluebell ice cream. There have been no recalls yet on Budget Risk and purchasing roadkill chili. Our only item for your consideration this morning is item number 1, RFP 2015-080. This is for an in-building radio and cellular coverage for the Tom Vandergriff Civil Courts Building. Recommendation be toward the Team Communication Incorporated, amount of $217,864.48.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What does this do?
Completion should, we've been told, of May of 2015.
Now, what does it do?
What does it do? When is it?
What? No,
What?
not
What?
do, but do. Not D-U-E, but D-O.
Mr. Wursel can certainly tell you.
What does it do? We can't get cell phone service in there without that?
We do have some areas in the building, due to the construction of the building, where your cell phone would not work without this system. So we're basically putting in a distributed antenna system to amplify those cell phone signals from the carriers within those areas of the building where we're currently not able to either use a two-way radio or use a cellular phone.
So as a result of this, the two-way radios or cellular phones will be able to be used throughout the building?
That's correct. That's correct. We have some areas on the lower floors, like the basement, first floor and second floor, where we've got spotty coverage, where a sheriff's office radio won't work today without implementing a distributed antenna system such as this.
Okay. Any other questions?
I've got a question, but really it's to David. We've got, I think,
Should've
the
left.
same issue at our building in Hearst that we've discussed with maybe Tracy. Are you aware of that?
I am now.
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. Bye, Jack.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any appointments today? You have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Is there any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Your Honor, we have one that's the legislative update. Mr. Mendez has provided a memo in your backup material. And just a note also, we are going to receive our federal update next week. So I'll try to answer any questions you may have on Mr. Mendez's.
Oh, you could ask Casey.
You said federal update? Okay.
That's coming next week.
Okay. It's my understanding that Senate Bill 182 by Benton Court is up for, it's the 4% revenue cap. It's up for discussion Thursday at Senate Finance. One of the things that, there'll be a lot of folks down there, but one of the things I think we need to remember is if the legislature caps our revenue at 4%, then a lot of the things that we may have been able to do in the past with, some of our revenue growth, I think, has been somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 or 6% maybe in years past. That 1 to 2% would be anywhere from $2 to $5 million. And that could go, that money is used to a great extent, but sometimes by y'all, as you help cities do their infrastructure. We've talked a lot about how the state and the federal government is not doing their share in keeping up their infrastructure. Doing things like this, I believe, will potentially put us in a position of not having the money to be able to do that, to be able to do other things and other programs that we can voluntarily do if they take that out of our hands. So I plan on being down there on Thursday on that particular to testify in opposition against that particular bill.
Judge, you made a comment earlier in the meeting about counties being the doorway for the implementation of state and federal laws. If this legislation passes, that doorway is going to start closing very, very quickly.
So I think it's critical. I mean, even the TechShare program that we've talked about, we've had dollars that we could put toward this. Is that in the future we may not have those dollars, and it would prevent things from happening that we have been able to do from a discretionary standpoint. At the same time, we've not raised the tax. Our tax rate is actually lower, so appreciate that. Anything else, Mr. Manius?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Then we will recess our open meeting, proceed to close to discuss items exempt under Section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Well, I know it'd be nice. I mean, I don't want y'all to be off camera. Or at least I'd like to have 3 on camera before I hit this thing. Having returned from our closed session and there being no business to transact at this time, we'll call on the auditor who's got something to give us.
I just want to make you aware of an issue. We receive the information that we get every year from TAD to calculate the TIF payments back to the entities. And when we first received the information, it was not correct. It didn't balance prior year information. A person on my staff, Julie Hillhouse, has worked extensively with someone from TAD. We now have correct information, we believe, and we're working on processing those payments. They're actually due typically by the end of April. TAD is actually sending out a letter to the entities that really doesn't say that their information was incorrect, but it says they're going to be sending out new information. Why that matters is the entities typically, in many instances, they bill us, and then we pay, and we have a certain time limit to pay from when they bill us. Some of the bills that we've already received are incorrect, so we're working with TAD to get back to cities like North Richland Hills to make them aware that the initial information from TAD was incorrect. So I just didn't want any of y'all not to know that this problem had occurred. It all deals with the exemptions and the information that was provided to us from TAD. But because we're trying to calculate these payments, make sure they're accurate, make sure we pay on time. And originally we were not getting the cooperation that we thought we should from TAD, but they're now working with us. So
Have you notified all of the cities that there are issues?
TAD is supposed to do that today. We have not, because I don't think that's my place. We will work with them to make sure that they're aware that these errors have occurred, and when these new reports come out from TAD, that they need to use the new reports.
But if the cities have received the old reports on our billing,
We've received a few bills, and again, TAD is supposed to send out, GK has some emails that I gave him, that one of them is an email of what TAD is supposed to be sent out today to notify the entities that they're sending new reports.
and so if TAD has not, or we find, I'm not sure that we shouldn't make sure that not only TAD or the cities get those emails, but that we be sure, and somebody needs to be copying their board. I am concerned, and I want to make sure that their board understands the severity of the issues that we're having with their new software.
This error was over $1 billion in the base year. The base years were wrong because of the exemptions. And so we knew we couldn't use what they had sent us, and our original plan, if we couldn't have gotten corrected information, was to calculate using prior years.
And the problem that we have is that if TAD, if we're trying to figure out where we're going to recover or do anything on this, we can't sue TAD because we are TAD. But there's a vendor behind TAD that is the one that has created this software that is not producing the valid information. And somebody needs to make sure that they're on notice that they better get it corrected or there could be potential legal actions against the vendor. And I don't know if we sue the vendor, if TAD sues the vendor, or whomever, but the board, I'm not sure the board is aware that everything ain't hunky-dory.
Well, if I receive any calls, I'll be happy to work with each one of you to answer your city or constituent questions. And we're doing everything we can to get it right and make it timely. Just didn't want you not to be informed.
Mr. Rye, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, I think everyone's aware of what has created problems in the software program Momentum. It started out as a megatronic program that was bought out by Thomson Reuters. And one of the first things Thomson Reuters did is it came to the Russell District. They owned up to the fact that there's no way to put up a contract. And so they delayed delivery of the week, the tax assessors, Dallas County, Denton County, and myself met with Jeff Law, because they have, not to the extent we have, but they also have accounts that they get from the appraisal district. For Dallas, it's Grand Prairie, the Tarrant County part of Grand Prairie. And for Denton, it's Northwest ISD is the biggest one, but it's also Trophy Club and one other smaller city. And it's like 90,000 accounts. They weren't getting anything from TAD. And, but TAD is aware of, we've had several meetings with them. We continue to have meetings with them. And we're in constant communication whenever we see a problem, which is so far has been with every supplemental roll we get. And we get one every month. But it's gotten a lot better than it was in November.
Thank you for that informational update.
That's all we have at this time.
There being no further business, we are adjourned.